As I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then stormy weather's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time is hit you, you're not surprised.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop your fucking lying.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Mr. Stubbs, Dspgaming, the power of the patrons. Now, as you guys know, coming off of what was the most devastating month for Phil on Twitch, I would say, thus far. February 28th is a day that's going to be attached to Phil for quite a while. It was the day that he held his fundraiser coming off of a suspension, and it failed miserably. It completely bombed. He was better off just doing one stream in the morning and just letting it go. Because what happened that morning was the foreshadowing to what came later. If you guys keep up with One Piece or Dragon Ball Super, you guys kind of know what I'm talking about. It was really bad. It was downright terrible. Out of that $2,000 goal, he only made $107. Ooh, it stings a little bit. So with that being said, Phil needs to shift gears. Not to say that he's going to leave Twitch, because he's not. But now he can't say fundraiser anymore, which is what led to his suspension in the first place. He's not going to be transparent and tell you guys that, at least not right now, but eventually he will. So now he has to change gears a little bit. And his Patreon has been looking weak, or it was weak, I should say, at the end of February. I don't think he even hit the Patreon goal. He didn't get to 1250. I think he may have only hit like 800. He might have hit 9. It was pretty bad. Now keep in mind, his Patreon has been in sharp decline since the middle of last year. So it is what it was. There are plenty of theories on what that is, and you'll probably see some of those theories in my comment section. But one of the things that I've come to the conclusion on, as well as others, is a lot of the Japanese eccentric games that he used to play. And he had a very large demographic who was there for those games, and they loved those games. And that's why I think, in a lot of ways, a lot of those Patreon goals were being hit because he was playing those type of games, or those games were up for votes. And if they were up there to be voted on, if they were on the poll, they would win. So since he's kind of stepped away from that, his Patreon's been in decline. Now, that's just one reason why, out of many. We all could come up with other reasons on why Patreon has fallen off. You know, rage quitting games, putting games winning, and then him choosing the next game because he can't profit off of the first one, so on and so forth. We all have heard some of these stories. But now Phil is forced to go back to Patreon again. He's forced to shift his focus over there now. The cash cow, which was the fundraisers on Twitch, is being halted somewhat because he's overplayed his cards. He got too greedy and he got spanked for it. But what does that really mean, ladies and gentlemen, on his focus, him having to focus on Patreon? It means he has to go back to YouTube. That's exactly what it means. And going into YouTube is going to be a bit of a humbling situation. And let me explain why. Going back to YouTube is kind of him going back on his word in some ways. Now, that's nothing different. That's what Phil does. But Phil said that Twitch was going to be his future, and YouTube was just going to be an archive. And if that's the case, I had said, well, first off, I said that was a terrible idea. Just making an archive channel and that's it. KO Gaming's dead. We get that. He still uses King of Hate vlogs, but views are declining over there as well. He needs to keep YouTube on in good standings with his community, with his fan base. And as he's been doing almost all year and talking about his 10-year legacy, YouTube is the basis of that legacy. You have to keep that in good standings. It should be in better standings, in truth, than Twitch. He needs it to be. Because Phil himself has said, for all those people who don't have enough bandwidth to watch his streams or even watch them being archived, they can always go to YouTube. Okay, fair enough, but you have to put the emphasis on YouTube. And you have to do certain things to keep people engaged. One of those things are the reviews. And I had said that in previous videos, so I'll try to be brief about it. He doesn't have to do the edited style ones. That's obviously too much for him. Fine. But the ones where he sits on his couch for 15, 20 minutes and just giving a review, not his opinion, but giving an actual review, breaking down the game, would be his best bet. Phil doesn't want to do that. He feels that's a waste of his time. And when he finishes a game, in his own words, he gives you his opinion after the game's over anyway. So why does he see the need to do that? Yet again, Phil showing his age and showing how lazy he is. That's fine. It is what it is. But now he has to go back to YouTube. And he has to go back to YouTube because he has to get Patreon back to where it needs to be. He can only do that through YouTube. Because, as I said, those people who don't want to go to Twitch or, don't have the ability to actually consistently be over there or be able to watch it, they're on YouTube still. So Phil shouldn't have put all of his eggs in one basket, I should say. He screwed himself over. So now he has to go crawling back. With that being said, we're going to go through this video and we're going to see the recent choices that came out of Patreon. This was all recent and whatnot because this video came out on March 3rd. So we're going to go ahead and see what comes out of this. It's probably not going to be very good. If I remember correctly, there was like 3 or 4 games on the chopping block, and I'm sure that didn't work out very well. Now, as I've said before, Phil, and I'll say it again, I'll try to be brief. We all know you're going to continue to play PUBG, even though on Twitter, it sounds like you're blaming PUBG for the failure of your fundraiser. But in truth, your fundraiser was dead on arrival anyway, being that you were coming off suspension. Everybody still thought you were on suspension, so most people didn't show up for your stream. You screwed yourself, essentially. Your suspension definitely did not come at a very good time for you. No pun intended there. But you need to jump on Fortnite. I'm just saying. I know he doesn't like the game. He hates it. Whatever. There are plenty of games that Phil played and he hated it. But that right there is the trend right now. And Phil needs that. He can still play other games, don't get me wrong. But if he's going to have 2 staples on his Twitch channel, it has to be Fortnite and it has to be PUBG. I don't care if he doesn't like it or not. He doesn't even like PUBG. He really don't. He plays it because it brings people in. Well, guess what? Fortnite will do it too. And whether it's a flash in the pan or not, that's what he needs to do for his business. And now keep in mind, Phil, and I've said this, Phil is all about the short term. So if this is just a flash in the pan and it's only going to last a couple of months, if maybe a year, then guess what? Do it. Do it now because guess what, Phil? You need the money now for your taxes. So if you have to get short-term money, which is the situation you put yourself in, to get yourself out of this problem, then guess what? You need to be doing anything and everything that you can to get those funds together. Because let's be honest with you, the pig pen is getting smaller and smaller by the day. Just because people are subbing to your channel doesn't mean that they're contributing to you. And since you can't ask for bits anymore, or you can't beg for bits, I should say, which was dumb anyway. Why would you beg for pennies? But since you can't beg for bits anymore, you need to make a shift, a drastic shift. This isn't something that you could just put a Band-Aid on and walk away like you do with everything else. You need to completely redo your focus. You need to revamp your business strategy. Now, I'm not here to tell you how to do that. Get one of these guys who goes to all these detractor channels and shits on them. Get them to do it. They seem to have a lot of time on their hands and they're doing a lot of work. So have them help you get out of that. I've given you enough. I've given you enough good ideas. So, and I'm not getting paid for it. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG network and productions. You guys all know the slogan. Now watch me work.
I don't know.
Sir,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
both of you, can you please go in the waiting room? Can you please go in the waiting room?
Sure, where is the waiting room?
Right behind you, idiot. You click on that.
You didn't have to call me an idiot. I just walked in the door. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, if you look around, you would have been able to know. It literally says waiting room on top of it.
Wow. You're quite rude. You're
shit.
11.
Yo, that was so savage. He's like, I'm 11. Deal with it. Oh my god, we gotta bring that back. That was savage. Oh.
I'm an idiot. I just walked in the door. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, if you look around, you would have been able to know. It literally says waiting room on top of it.
Wow. You're quite rude.
Wow. I'm 11. Deal with it.
You're 11?
Yes.
And your parents bought you a gaming PC? What's wrong with this picture?
Probably because I'm portable. You click on it, just so you know.
Wow.
Click on it. Oh.
That was hilarious. That was a very, very hilarious exchange there. Oh, man. And it's funny how Phil was like, you're 11 and your parents bought you a gaming PC? Oh, I'm sorry, Phil. Did that give you flashbacks of that Wolverine figurine you wanted when you were 15/16? Oh, I know, Phil. It's a painful memory. It's a painful, painful memory. Wow. You got to deal with it, though. You got to look forward. You can't look back. You have to, Phil.
Good, now I'm away from that annoying fucking bitch of a kid who I would have slapped in real fucking life if they talked to me like that. I would have fucking pimp slapped the shit out of that. What the fuck? Anyway. Him.
Wait. Wait. How are you gonna talk that tough talk after you go through the portal? Why did you say that shit to that 11-year-old right then and there? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you little shit, you don't talk to me like that, and then jump through the door. You want to wait till you're through it to go ahead and start talking tough talk and being like, I'll smack the shit out of him in real life. Wow, that's a bitch move, Phil. That's a bitch move. That's a shame. Got 11-year-olds punking him. Jesus Christ.
Ballsy Fred cheered that Darkest Dungeon is really good, and so is Doki Doki. I do think Darkest Dungeon is a good game. I liked it when I played it in 2016, but I have no recollection of how to play it. So I get the feeling I'm gonna die because the game is, you have to play it like really, you have to really concentrate and it's very challenging apparently, and you could die if you fuck up. And I don't know what I'm gonna do because I don't remember how to play it. So I'm probably gonna just die really quickly here, and I don't know how this is gonna work out. That's why when people were nominating games, I was like, you guys sure you want to see Darkest Dungeon, because it's like mad old, and I'm probably gonna do terrible at it because I haven't played it in a year and a half. And like, no, do it. Okay.
Aren't you the same person, though, that you were like, hey, we can go back to GameCube games? And that's older than Darkest Dungeon, if I remember correctly. So, what are you talking about? Like I said, Phil, you really need to think before you talk, man. You really do. You really, really need to think before you talk. And they paid you for it, so just play the damn game. If you fail at it, you fail at it, but that's what you were paid to play. So do it.
Hey, if it's really what you want. We saw how well VR chat went, so. I don't know where I am. I'm not even.
Yeah, talking all that tough shit behind that 11-year-old's back. Boy, oh boy, last thing you want is her smacking you with her juice box, or her, whatever fruit snack mommy packed for her. Jesus Christ, she's gonna run up on you after that DSP tries it. Like, hey, you need to pass the nuggets over right now with that Szechuan dipping sauce. Jesus Christ.
On the map anymore. A pos him just did a 25-bit choose and angry pos noises. Well, I'm starving. We're all dead. I don't know what. This is so dumb. Everyone in the stream chat is now telling me to stop playing and just delete the game because it's a waste of time. Which is what I knew was going to happen when people voted for this for some reason. If it is did 100-bit choices, I feel like the patrons who voted were trolling you. No, here's the problem. And this is what I say when I do these events where people vote and nominate stuff. They only look at it from a narrow perspective. They don't look big picture. So, oh, Darkest Dungeon, I know that game. That's a good game, so Phil should play it. Well, do you think did Phil ever play it before? Yes. Did Phil like it? Yes, but that was a year and a half ago. And when he played this in a marathon a year and a half ago, I only got through the tutorial and people complained that wasn't enough to invest in it for it to work in a marathon. So if you look at the big picture, you know I've already played this game in a marathon before, and you know it won't work. Because if I just play through the tutorial, it's too short, it's boring. If I continue a year and a half later, I won't know what the hell I'm doing. But that's it. People don't look big picture. Instead, they just look at this narrow vision. Is Darkest Dungeon a good game? Yes. Okay, Phil should play it, and they vote. Instead of looking back, oh, Phil played this in 2016 and it didn't work in the marathon then, maybe we shouldn't have voted it now. But
Maybe some of those people weren't around back then. And yet again, all you're doing is asking them to play games that are comfortable for you instead of voting on games that they want to see you play. What's the point of this then? Like, what's the point of being a Patreon and recommending games to Phil if he has an excuse for every single one of them? And most of the games that Phil wants to play, he can't even profit off of. So what the hell is the point? Like, he's wasting his own time with this. He really is. This is a waste. Patreon's Choice and gaming marathons are garbage. He needs to stop doing that. It's just a waste of his time. And it's a waste of those people's time and money. He needs to come up with something else. Okay? All this bullshit here anyway is just an old tactic that he was using. And it's not getting him anywhere. It's actually showing its age. He needs to stop. He needs to do something else. He needs to come up with something else to do. Because this isn't working anymore. He spends more time complaining about it than playing the game. And why didn't you just do the tutorial off stream? So then when you get ready to start the game up, they don't have to see that. Why didn't you just play it like that? And you can't even say you played the game a year and a half ago. You only played the tutorial and then you gave up, which is what you just said. So he needs to completely revamp his strategy. All these things right here are old dog and pony shows. And he needs to do something else. He needs to give all this up and do a revamp. He really does. Either that or he needs to go on his own forums and have them recommend what the new goals are, because this stuff isn't working anymore. He's too lazy to even do them. And all he does is bitch and complain about the games that are chosen. So what are you doing? Yeah, he's boxing himself in. He's slowly but surely he's been failing, but he's slowly but surely setting himself up to fail. He needs to do something else.
they don't do that. It's the same thing like with Super Mario Sunshine last year. I told people, I'm already playing a Mario game now. I'm playing Mario Odyssey in a month. Don't vote for Mario Sunshine. Mario Sunshine wins overabundantly as the winner of the poll. And it's like...
Here's the thing. Mario Odyssey could have waited. And you rage quitted that anyway. So who cares? Mario Sunshine was what you got paid for directly. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, he was paid $12.50 to play Mario Sunshine. Not Odyssey and not Mario plus Rabbids. Those were new game releases. So he was paid $12.50, which in my book automatically outweighs the other two. Now, Mario plus Rabbids was already out. He was already halfway through the playthrough, I think. So that is what it is. He has to finish that one out. And at least he didn't rage quit that. Mario Odyssey, on the other hand, he could have put that on the back burner until Sunshine was done. It really could. It didn't help him in any type of way. He had a little pop the first couple episodes, and then everything else went into sharp decline. And if you're a fan of Phil and of his content, it doesn't matter when he plays the games, you'll be there to watch it. What he's hoping is to grab those new views from everybody else. But after that first episode, maybe the second episode, you're not going to sit there for the rest of it. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and actually look at Dspgaming. Look at all of the new games that he plays and look at the first couple episodes. They do well, so to speak. He's not breaking 10,000, at least not on all of them. But it's whatever. They're good views. But then after that, you start getting into the hundreds. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter when he plays some of these new releases. It could have waited. You were paid $12.50 for this game. You should have just played it. The real reason why was he didn't have anything that he needed for it. And the thing is he knew it was going to win. He knew it was going to win. And he already had the money in hand. So all he had to do was go out and buy the peripherals for it. But he was too lazy. He was hoping to go ahead and give you... What did he end up playing? He ended up playing Spiral? Like Spiral the Dragon or something like that. He ended up playing that, and he just kept pushing Mario Sunshine further and further back, hoping that people would forget about it. And then he had the nerve to blame the detractors because, only the detractors want to see me play this. No. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if the detractors were the ones who were pushing the agenda for it. You were paid for it. And you should have paid, and, since you were paid for it, you got to do what you owe. People paid you for a service, you were supposed to provide the service, and Phil didn't want to do it. And then he had the nerve to bitch and complain at the very people who gave him money when he had to throw up roughly $135, maybe $170 for the peripherals. And keep in mind, he had to buy a couple of things twice because he wouldn't listen to the people in his fan base the first time around, and get the right cables, the first time around. So he screwed himself over. Like I said, all of this is just out of date. He needs to do something else. This is old. You know what I mean? This is all 2014, 2015. This is all over with.
I just don't get it. I don't think it's trolling. It's just that people don't think big picture. This is horrible.
No, but see, the problem is, yet again, is he wants big picture for himself, not for you guys. Not for you who put your money down to watch Phil play a game. Everything has to benefit Phil, not you guys. And that's his problem. And the thing is, now, it's getting old. It's outdated. That's why Patreon's barely getting anywhere anyway. I mean, he can't abandon Patreon. He needs it. But his goals are garbage. They've always been trash. But he needs to really do something else. And in my personal opinion, let the actual fans, let the actual Patreons actually choose what their goals are going to be each month. Not you. Because these goals are just tired and old. Like yourself.
This is not working whatsoever. I don't know what I'm doing. If I play the tutorial over again, it'll be boring and a waste of time. What I'm doing now is horrible and a waste of time. There's literally not a single reason for me to play Darkest Dungeon anymore, unless I'm going to do it as a full playthrough, which no one has ever requested. So, I'm done. That's enough. Now I can actually go play something that will be entertaining to the viewers, and not me just wasting my fucking time on stuff that's a complete waste because it didn't work in the first marathon.
But he's a gamer, ladies and gentlemen. He's a gamer. Always remember that.
There you go. Now we can have fun stuff. Unbelievable. What a waste of fucking time that was. Seriously. What a waste of everyone's time. The best part about this whole situation are idiots in stream chat complaining, saying I donated like $600 to see a game. This wasn't a patron's choice playthrough, and I don't do my goals off of patron donations anymore, morons. I do it off of subs. So you're so full of crap. You're so 100% full of crap. That's the thing. I really wanted to see Darkest Dungeon. I pledged $200 and I didn't get to see it. That's not what happened. What happened was people subbed to the channel, but we did this as a celebratory goal because of subs, and then patrons nominated and voted. No one pledged $100 to see a game, stupid. But I love the stupidity of people.
So, but that doesn't mean that someone didn't give you $200 on Patreon. So, I mean, the $600, I don't know. But for at least the $200 one, let's try to be devil's advocate here. Someone obviously paid you that money to see that game. It doesn't matter. You were gonna quit it anyway. Like, in truth, he was gonna quit it anyway. It doesn't matter. It really
The
don't.
troll's trying to come in here and lie blatantly. Yeah, maybe last year you could have made that reasoning. Not anymore, stupid. Alright, I see a bunch of fucking trolls in the stream chat. I've had enough. I'm trying to have fun. I got to see a bunch of cocksuckers in here.
Listen to him, ladies and gentlemen. How much fun does it sound like he's having? Like, you know what I mean? You want to go ahead and call other people liars, but how much fun are you having currently, man? Like, seriously. How enthusiastic do you sound?
Spamming nonsense, and now you can all get the fuck out of here. Goodbye.
And this is why his sub count is garbage. It's in the actual toilet, because all he does is ban people. He can't just sit there and do what his job is. Focus on the game. He has to concentrate on all the haters. Same reason why people still asking him, hey, when the comments going to come back to Dspgaming? Just turn it on and then let it go. You don't care. You're just going to upload the videos and then leave anyway. No, but see, Phil has to look at the comment section. His pride has to force him to look at that comment section. Even though he knows it's just going to be toxic, it's going to be garbage. There's some gems in there. There's some people in there that are going to positively say something. And yet again, 10-year anniversary. His 10-year legacy. There are people who can only communicate to him through Dspgaming, and the comment section is closed. So how are they going to reach out to him? Going to darksidephil@hotmail.com? Please. He gets spammed for days on there. That's why he doesn't answer anybody back. And we all know that. He knows that. Alright.
Bye. Let's see. Goodbye, Coverus, for good. I've had enough of you, Coverus. You're trolling again. Goodbye. Once again, such an idiot. We already unbanned him once, begging the stream chat to get unbanned. He gets unbanned and he acts like a troll again. Goodbye for good. You're not coming back this time. You fucking idiot. Anyone else?
Look at him. He takes more. Well, not you can't look at him, but he has more fun banning people and insulting them than actually playing the games. Like I said, and as other people have said also, but definitely, I firmly believe it. He needs to just do in real life streams from now on. Just quit the gaming. The gaming's boring anyway. You might as well just go ahead and just talk about real life shit. Literally, go up there, Phil, and look at what's going on Twitter. Look at whatever YouTube drama is going on, and just giving your opinion on it on Twitch. Just do that. You might as well. You're gonna do it anyway because your gameplay is garbage. You know it's garbage. People are bored. People are slowly but surely leaving. You might as well just go ahead and try to shit on PewDiePie all day or something. Do that. Do something. Something entertaining. Like I said, you're getting up there in age and you don't even like playing games anymore. I don't know if you ever really did, but you probably did at one time. But you certainly don't like doing it now. It's just, it's mundane to you. It's dumb. Phil really thought, in my own personal opinion, he really thought after 10 years he would be maybe not on top of the mountain, because I don't think he's that delusional. He is delusional. I just don't think he's that delusional. But I think he thought he was going to be in a much better spot after 10 years of doing this than he's at, obviously. You know, and that could be said about anything, and that could be said about anyone, but he really thought he was going to be somewhere. He's barely scraping 1250 up. Most times he's not even getting it. You know what I mean? There's people who've been on, they've been on YouTube longer, well, no, as long as he has, or even shorter, to be honest with you, and they have Patreon goals of $10,000 a month, and they're hitting it and some. Easy. Easy. And they don't even have to put out nearly as much content as Phil. He's yet again, he's a dying man. Literally. His channel is just, it's at wit's end. And he thinks Twitch is going to help him, and it's too late. He didn't put the time into it when he was supposed to. And now he's just a new fish in there, and there's all these younger people coming up. There are all these talented people coming up, and they're just slowly but surely sweeping him away. And he can't do anything about it. Not a damn thing. Because they can't relate to him. When you go to Phil's channel, you're only going to listen to his problems, you're only going to listen to him complain about the game, and that's it. There's no compelling gameplay. You're not going to walk away from Phil's stream learning anything. Not about the game, not about real life, not about anything. All Phil does is reinforce that Phil's a piece of shit. So any rumors that you've pretty much heard about Phil, not all of them are true. I'll be the first one to tell you. But to hear that he's just a man-child who sits around, complains all day, expects everybody to do everything for him, and he's not man enough to take responsibility for anything, that right there, his streams will reinforce that. And the sad thing is he knows it. And he won't do anything to change it. DSP News.
Here we go. Here's another one. Goodbye.
Riveting. Absolutely riveting. Look at him. Well, sorry you can't, but he's just sitting there looking for people to ban.
Okay, I think we're good now. I think I cleared it out.
Jesus Christ, man. See, and that's the thing, man.
All right.
He lives for people. It's funny. All right, let me give you guys an example. When you see some of these people who jump into people's comment sections and talk all this negative shit, whatever, it's a free world. You know, you have your right to say whatever you want to say. Phil got rid of that comment section because his comment section on Dspgaming, because he was a slave to it. He has to read every single comment. He has to know what's being said about him. He couldn't just let it go. He couldn't just let it go. And the thing is I guarantee you he wanted to do that with King of Hate vlogs too. But he won't because he needs some of the feedback that comes out of that. With Dspgaming, he's already given up on it. He had just like KO Gaming, he gave up on it already. He knows that the detractors are beating him out in his own search, and he can't do a thing about it. And they'll never be able to do anything about it. He's kind of in a dead rut. But that's why he's so linked to his chat. He has to read it. He has to read it, and he has to know what's going on. And he's sitting there taking mental notes of the people that are in his chat. Who does that sound like? If you guys get that reference, you know what I'm talking about. But It's kind of like that, where you're sitting there taking a mental note of every person in your chat that says something bad about you. You know how many people who come in my comment section and say silly shit? I don't care. What's the point? They don't stop me, and I'm not going to stop them. Matter of fact, as I've said from the beginning on this channel, I let them do it because they can't do it over there with you. So it's funny how they serve you, and yet they don't even have free speech on your channel, Phil. So it takes a detractor to go ahead and give them something that their own master can't give them. That's a shame. That's a shame. Isn't that funny, ladies and gentlemen? How a lonely detractor can be man enough to go ahead and let people speak what they feel on his comment section, whether it's constructive or not, and yet the person that they're defending can't even do it. He can't sit there and say, I'm a 36-year-old man, because he's about to be 36. He's a 36-year-old man, and I'm above this. He can't even say that. And what are you doing banning people, Phil? Don't you have moderators for that? So why are you doing the job of the moderators? He only calls on the moderators to do stuff when he's trying to flex his muscle. When he feels those people are light work. Go ahead and handle that for me, man. I don't feel like doing that. But when he's dead set at looking at the comment section, when he's giving it more than 2 minutes of attention, he'll do it himself. And Phil has never learned how to take criticism. And because of that, he never felt the need to change. Look at him. Oh, sorry, goddammit. Just
Okay.
Still scanning. You can't look at it, sorry.
Let's continue. Stupidity of idiots.
Oh boy.
Like, the game's not frustrating enough, now I gotta put up with that shit too at the same time. Get the fuck out. Okay. You can choose to be in there all day, sorry you gotta put up with that, Phil. Yeah, every day, pretty much I gotta put up with fucking complete morons, trolls, and idiots. Jealous morons. Much props to anyone who can play this game for hours on end. I can't do it, man. My fucking hand. Oh.
Fucking hand. Thought you were a gamer,
I'm actually
Phil.
starting to feel numbness in my pinky.
Really?
I am.
Numbness in your pinky? You mean like the numbness that you had at that video game tournament in Philly? Remember when you couldn't feel anything in your thumb, and you didn't think about going to see a doctor, but you went to go and play what, Dark Souls or something in your hotel room for 8 hours? How did you pull that off when you had numbness in your thumb, and you couldn't play on an arcade stick? Yet again, it's, I don't know, whatever. Just whatever.
Fuck this. I'm done. I'm seriously done. I can't do it. Maybe for people who play PC.
And the thing is, right, is for someone here, I'll try to bring that whole clip back, but at least that soundbite back. For someone who says he's a gamer, right, and who says that he has all this hate going on around him and it's all jealousy and envy and all this, that, and the third, how does that jealousy and envy translate to him quitting stuff? Is it GTG who's at fault for him rage quitting games? Is it Almighty Tevin's fault for him quitting games? Is it the dreaded Sons of Kojima that was at fault for him quitting games? Is it Argent? Is it Theo? Is it David Davison? Is it Volt Boy? Is it SJ Cruz? You know what I mean? Anybody. Who's at fault for Phil making his mistakes? For him being bad at games? For him quitting games? Who is it? Someone justify that to me on how it's a detractor's fault that he gives up on stuff. Him being bad at games is one thing. He's an idiot. It's what you expect. But he's the one who chooses to quit those games. I didn't have any part in that, nor did anybody else. He chose that. But yet I thought everybody was so jealous and envious of him, and of his talent and of his success. Phil doesn't even realize that he's killing himself every day. Every day Phil comes on camera and he doesn't look the part, he kills himself. When you go up there looking like a slob, it is what it is. Now, that's just what he chooses to look like. Now, let's talk about how his behavior is. He spends more time addressing haters than addressing the very community that come there to support him. But then, in that same hindsight, he'll turn around and go ahead and kill off his own fan base. So it's almost like, if you guys want a medieval reference, it's like a king that's slowly but surely going crazy. In his early days, he might have been something, and there might have been so much high hope for him. But as time went on, he slowly but surely got into his own feelings. He slowly but surely succumbed to any type of situation that he might have had. I'm not going to call him mental illness or any dumb shit like that. That's Phil's stitch. That's his stock and trade. He can have that. And whatever the case may be. And now you have someone who's a shell of himself, but yet he still has delusions of being on top. I can see why people ask me to go ahead and go over the Spoonie 1 videos, because I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Eventually I'll do it, because Spoonie 1 is so much more fascinating, but I mean, he's killed himself. You can go ahead and say whatever you want to say about his gameplay, but when he quits them, whose fault is it really?
You can choose to be there all day. Sorry, you gotta put up with that, Phil. Yeah, every day, pretty much, I gotta put up with fucking complete morons, trolls, and idiots. Jealous morons. Much props to anyone who can play this game for hours on end. I can't do it, man. My fucking hand. Oh. I'm actually starting to feel numbness in my pinky. I am.
I wonder if Girl Gone Gamer ever had that problem. You guys know who that is. You know what I'm talking about. And you know the reference that I just made there. I wonder if she ever had those type of issues. I wonder what she's doing these days. She was like the top chick on YouTube until she got exposed, so I'll go look into that.
Fuck this. I'm done. I'm seriously done. I can't do it. Maybe for people who play PC games all the time, I can't do it. Like, already, 2 hours of mouse usage, my hand is fucking numb as shit. Goodbye. Yeah! Alright, that's it. Enough of this. Enough of this.
That's game number 3, Rage Quitted.
Can't do it. Too much pain.
Oh, the game was Get Over It, by the way. I've seen people play that. It's actually, it definitely has, it's quirky. I'll say that. It's definitely quirky. It could be interesting, though. We'll see.
Too much fucking pain, man. Alright, everyone, well. Certainly an interesting stream today. It's sad that, sadly, I'd say 2 out of the 3 games voted in for the marathon were absolutely terrible. I mean, VR Chat was a complete waste of time, and I knew it would be. And Darkest Dungeon, I knew also. It's not a bad game, but Darkest Dungeon, as we knew, alright, as we knew, back during the marathon of 2016 when I last played Darkest Dungeon, it doesn't work for a marathon setting. You need more than just like an hour and a half to play it. So that was a waste of time, too. You may not realize it, but it was pretty damn good. You know, cheers, tips, and subs today were great. By the way, 18 subs according to the stream.
Actually, let me go ahead and read that off for you. So his current subs at the time of him doing this recording was at 424 out of 500, and the top tip was $100. So I guess you take success where you can get it.
Plus there were 3 overnight, so 21 subs I got today. Yeah, it's telling me still that I lost subs since yesterday, and that's what I mean about this sub count on Twitch. I don't think it's right.
How many people did you ban early on, though? Just out of curiosity. Let's try to factor that in there too, Phil.
There was no day in February where I got 40 subs in one day, and now I only got 20 new ones today, so therefore it went down by 20. This didn't happen in February. So I think that there is something wrong with subs on Twitch, but whatever. Whatever. I don't know what else to say. It was a good session. I hope at least you guys had fun and you were entertained. All right.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put it into that. So there you go. That's where, if you're someone who supports Phil on Patreon, that's where your hard-earned money went. I hope that was worth your time, to be perfectly honest with you. And hopefully you guys you follow the lead of Golden Colts and you save your money. and find something else more meaningful for it. Okay? Saving your money never goes out of style. It really doesn't. No one ever had looked at their bank account and been like, you know what? I got way too many zeros in there. I don't like that. That's just not going to work for me. It really don't. Especially if you guys are from a much younger demographic than Phil. Phil already grew up and made his mistakes. No one said that you had to pay for it. His parents were supposed to essentially handle that. And sadly, they've already paid for his mistakes. No one said that you're obligated to do so. I'm sure plenty of people have already told you this, but I'll tell you also just to kind of reaffirm it. You don't owe Phil anything. You don't. I'm tired of hearing Phil talk about, he gave you guys 10 years of free content. He made his money off that content. Don't get it twisted. He made his money. And he made a lot of money. And it was his responsibility to do right by that money. To save it, to invest it, to do all these things. He says investing your money is stupid. All right. And apparently saving money is stupid too. But saving his ass apparently should be your guys' priority. He's already lived his life. He's already made his mistakes. You guys are just starting your lives, most of you. You don't owe him a damn thing. You really don't. He's almost 40. If in 36 years he couldn't figure out what the situation is, or he doesn't have a plan for himself, which he doesn't, then that's on him. You guys don't have to fix his mistakes. I can't hold it against any of you if you want to help Phil. But helping him and becoming a slave to him is two different things. You're not helping him and being obligated to him is two separate things. You're not obligated to him. You're not. You gave him your clicks. You gave him your time. Time is valuable. And Phil's getting to that age where if he doesn't do something for himself, not just for his business, but for himself physically, Kat's gonna outlive him. And she's gonna inherit all of that. And then Panda can come in and she can fight for her cut. But you don't owe Phil anything. I'm just saying. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. This is your host, or this is your anchor, GTG, signing off. In the broadcast.
Twitch, how do you allow a guy to talk to children like this on your website? Listen to this. Listen to this.
Well, if you look around, you would have been able to know. It literally says waiting room on top of it.
Wow. You're quite rude.
Wow. I'm 11.
11 years old.
You're 11?
Yes?
And your parents bought you a gaming PC? What's wrong with this picture?
Probably because I'm part wolf. You click on it, just so you know.
You click on it. Oh. Good. Now I'm away from that annoying fucking bitch of a kid who I would have slapped in real fucking life if they talked to me like that. I would have fucking pimp slapped that shit out of that.
So, Twitch, let me get this straight. You allow a man to speak to a child about a child like that on your website. You allow that. This is an embarrassment, and I believe you should investigate it. If I'm not mistaken, that should be banned for speaking about a child like that. That's uncalled for, Twitch. I need something done. I want something done. I would not allow my children to ever watch Twitch again. And if you agree with me, this is embarrassment. This is embarrassing.